So, DocuApps, Ampleforth documents as applications. What could that possibly mean? Basically, Ampleforth is a live document editor that's built upon and integrates the Newspeak Live programming environment, Newspeak being a programming language in the Smalltalk tradition, but it's an object capability language and has other differences. And if you really want to know about Ampleforth, 2 years ago I gave a talk in this workshop, and you can find it on YouTube. If you go to newspeaklanguage.org, you will somewhere find the actual submission to that workshop, which is a live document, an essay that explains why Ampleforth might be interesting. So what is this talk about? This talk is about, at least I think, the reviewers thought differently, but I thought this talk was about validating some of the things that I had claimed in that paper. So I had basically argued that Ampleforth would be a general purpose application building and hosting environment, and that you should be able to build applications that are fairly powerful, such as presentation tools like PowerPoint or computational notebooks or spreadsheets and whatever. And I had this odd idea that maybe I should put my money where my mouth is and actually do that. And so this, actually we can make this a little bigger. This presentation is in fact an Ampleforth document. Now, it's in an app called Telescreen, which itself is also an Ampleforth document. And so historically, 2 years ago, I built the first version of Telescreen for my own dark reasons, and that was a regular Newspeak application, and it stored presentations in its own, in a format designed for that application. And the only thing it had to do with documents was that each individual slide was a document in an earlier version of Ampleforth. But that was obviously unsatisfactory. And so now I've gone and done it the right way. And so this presentation is a document, and each of the slides is a transcluded document within that presentation. And furthermore, the app itself, if you want to think of that, is also a document. And what does that actually mean? It's really quite simple. You know, you usually do these things out of templates. So there's a template, basically, there's a document that is a Telescreen presentation with one empty slide. And because Telescreen and Ampleforth do not have a mode distinction between editing and presenting, all these controls here, like moving between slides or adding slides in particular or showing the slide list and so forth, are in every presentation. So you can edit it while you're going, right? We can do things like this, whatever. Shouldn't be doing improvised things in a 7-minute presentation. Basically, so what you do, you take that template, you clone it, and then you start adding slides and editing the individual slides, and you have this, slide presenter. And so that, in a sense, this presentation is an existence proof of the point it is trying to make. And I think that's kind of nice, but as I said, some of the reviewers were not impressed with that. But they, at least one of them was impressed by something else that was kind of a minor point in the submission, and actually accused me of burying the lead by emphasizing something else. So what is the lead? Apparently, I did not know this, but this presentation is actually about the fact that transclusion eliminates silos. And what does that mean? So here we have, as I said, this is a document with a presentation. This slide is a transcluded document. And in this slide is transcluded this essay, which is the actual submission I presented to, handed into the workshop. And in this essay is a slide from another Telescreen application. And in this slide is a Telescreen presentation where we can actually keep presentations. Now, usually I honestly have not before had to have a presentation within my presentations, but I think that you should do that. That should be possible. And thanks, Jeffrey, I got that. Well, that should be okay. There is also the quick case of the computational notebooks. So this collapsed thing will open up. And this is a blog post of mine about Ozymandias, which is the most rudimentary computational notebook in existence. That is its claim to fame. But it is an experiment that shows that. And if we go here, and we start editing these things, then you can see, if you look at those numbers, right, they change as I type this, right? So, and an aside in my 2 minutes, right? This is the same distinction someone talked about earlier. You can have these things either evaluate absolutely live, or you can do that, whatever. So that's Aussie, and down here is the section somewhere about the other interesting point, which is one thing I had to change about Ampleforth as I built these things. I realized that you really need a standard, self-contained, extensible, persistent representation for your documents. And so that is one small lesson learned from this. And yeah, I believe I've said all these things, but here this is to hammer them into your consciousness. I believe that all these things are true, and I think I've done this in less than 7 minutes, which I didn't believe I could pull it off. But thank you.